Welcome back to Spank Ranch Garage. I know I don't talk about this one a lot on the channel because I've been drifting this thing for like 11 or 12 years now, and I didn't drift for the last like year and a half since I blew the engine in this thing. It's probably the last time you guys seen anything of it. A new motor for this. It is pretty much exactly what I had before. It's an M52 B28, 2.8 liter, single turbo with a GT36R Garrett on a spa log manifold, E85, 80-pound injectors, mega squirt, yada, yada, yada. I've been running the same setup since like 2014 or so. Had like thousands of hours on the old motor before it finally blew up. So I'm hoping to get thousands of hours on this one too. So anyway, I have a drift event in a day and a half. It's at one of my favorite tracks in the mountains. I need to make sure this thing's gonna work. So I put this motor in and then I parked it. I've never done anything to it. It's not even tested yet. I haven't even driven it yet. So let's get into it. Uh-oh, coolant's low. All right, we'll check that again after the engine's broken in, make sure it doesn't need any more, but if it does, I got a whole case. Couple other things, obviously a new door on this side because I needed a window. I didn't want it filling up with water over the rain, the winter. New power steering pump, new crank sensor, new coolant temp sensor, and new manifold air temp sensor. I didn't realize how bad a condition this car was in before I took it apart. This is a car where like I would tune it and then run it for 3 years on the same tune, never plug into it, never look at anything. I didn't even realize the manifold air temp wasn't working for God knows how long. Otherwise, you know, it just did a lot of maintenance on the exhaust side of things. Machined the exhaust manifold flat. Machined the turbo mounting surface flat, new studs, all that crap. It's got ARPs holding the head down. I ended up putting a M54 B30 intake cam in it this time since I had some laying around. Never did that before, so we'll see if that picks up any power. It's got some oil pump mods. I got a video on that. Otherwise, it's just a beat up turd that, you know, runs pretty good. I have a new door for this side, but I'm not gonna put it on until it's absolutely necessary because it gets destroyed in like 5 minutes. You know, thing looks like crap, but I wanna be sure it runs right and is dependable again before I put any effort into the cosmetics. The beer's all circulated through, so the cooling system's mint. Got the dyno set up. Gonna hop in here and just give this thing a quick tune-up. We're looking good so far. No blow by yet, so I didn't blow it up yet. I cannot get it to hook worth of crap on the dyno today. It's cold out, it's like 50 degrees. I mean, these tires are getting sticky. They're putting rubber on the fender. I got her strapped down tight, but she's just blowing it off in 5th gear. I got a real short rear in here right now. It's only a 391. So the car only does like 120 miles an hour. It's running pretty feisty, didn't have to make many changes. Really, I just got to get this ass end to hook up so I can put down some power numbers. Results are exactly as expected, right? This car has always made like 400 at 14 pounds, and that's on different dynos, different days. It's always very close to that, plus or minus a couple horsepower. It's 60 degrees out, low humidity, decent atmospheric pressure. I expect about 410 today. She makes 409 on the first hit, 406 on the second. Start dialing the fueling in, we end up at 421, 429. Power curve is just as it's always been. 3,500, she starts to hit, pulls pretty well all the way out the red line. She starts to taper a little bit, but it is a small turbo. This is at 12 degrees of timing at peak torque on E85. So I know there's more in there, but there's a reason I keep these things running so long. I tune them very conservatively. I don't go all the way. You got to leave a little bit on the table for that bad tank of gas. Now this is old E85 in here. I don't know what the E content is. Don't really care. After I fill this up, I will watch the AFR at the track, just doing a couple pulls, make sure she's still in the ballpark. But right now she's hanging right around 11.5, basically all the way from like 5 pounds of boost up to red line. So not bad at all. Took her down the road, beat her up a little bit. I can't complain. I mean, 420 horsepower and a 2,700 pound car, it rips pretty good. It's not gonna blow anybody's doors off, but it gets around. But anyway, time to put a seat in here for Mrs. Spanky. And in doing so, I'm picking up pieces that were picked up off the track last time I ran this car. So this is my oil pump. This came out the passenger side shock tower. This is the front right corner of an M52 block with a piece of the timing cover still attached to it. Here's where the oil pan would go. And then we have a random piece of oil pan here. Factory BMW, look at that. So hopefully this one doesn't grenade into a million pieces like the last one did, but there's only one way to find out. Ta-da, new seat mounting bracket. Joke's on you guys, I already test fitted this thing like 3 times. What a pain to get in here. Between the cage, the dash, the e-brake, the harness bar, everything. It's just, I freaking hate putting seats in. So putting seats in, especially when you're making your own brackets and stuff, is no joke. I mean, look at the clearance with the cage here. Just touches the cage pad. Just touches the center console. Door bar just comes up through the bolster here. Head clearance looks good. Halo doesn't stick out too far to touch the window. You know, nice and level with the driver's seat, similar positioning. It's not uncomfortable for passengers, plenty of foot room, and they can get in over the door bars. All things to consider. Looks okay, but it's only got an hour of runtime on it. This was like mixed matched leftover oil I had in the shop, so it's like 10 different brands and a couple different weights. Just enough to keep her wet while we break her in. Honestly seems pretty dark for a motor with an hour on it, but you know, the motor had 200,000 on it before I took it apart, so I'm sure we're loosening up some contaminants. I don't want anyone to have a stroke here, but I'm gonna open this filter and show you what's inside. That's pretty bad. There is substantial, I mean, there's literally piles of crap in here, but all this crap is just carbon. Carbon and paint that chipped off the block or the head or whatever. There's actually nothing alarming in here, but it goes to show that when you take a high mileage motor, you go whale on it, take it all apart, clean it up, whale on it, you're gonna keep all that carbon breaking loose and floating around there. So it's gonna dirty the oil for the first couple oil changes. Look at that. Pretty nasty. put them on dry, so take some beer and pour it around the bead. That's going to give it a little bit of lube. And take an oxyacetylene torch, poke the head in there, let her fill up with acetylene. Just like that, that's a happy tire. All mounted up, right? So I got what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we got 12 driftable tires already mounted on wheels. Spare front tire and wheel here, because they're a different size. Spare diff, spare M3 axle, spare drive shaft, and then spare left and right control arm. These already have the SLR ball joints pressed into them, and they're extended to match the ones that are on my car. Couple tie rods in the truck, spare diff cover, and then just your generics, fluids, you know, a little bit of extra coolant, power steering fluid, brake fluid, whatever. Engine oil, obviously. Gonna bring 12 gallons of E85 on top of the 16 that's already in the car. Likely I will run out of fuel before I run out of tires. That's intentional, because I hate mounting tires and I don't want to continue doing that. So if I can have a good day, run out of fuel, save a couple of these for the weekend after, that's what's up. 4:07 a.m. Let's get it. 4.5 hour drive coming up. 6 a.m. About 2.5 hours out. Quick strap check. Ooh, could do a little better on that. Got the old sheets here. Got to go take a sheet. You gotta take a poop. It's all right, we're out here. It's a beautiful fall day. See if it'll last more than one lap. First session down here. We got the full run out of the full runs. They do get very greasy towards the end. I mean, last 2 laps I was a joke out there. I was just smoking and making no forward bite.
The private deck. Remember when it was bent and then we tightened it just to get through those last 2 laps?
right, guys, that wraps up this one. Excellent day here at the mountain compound. Pretty much ran her out of tires. Everything is good, no overheating, but this old turd is back in business. That right there is an indication of a good day at the track. The best part is the car is still on the trailer. No need to take it off. Doesn't need any maintenance or repair. I just gotta say I'm extremely happy with how this came out. You know, from going to no engine to putting one in to tuning it 2 nights before the track day to not having any problems at all. I lifted the hood once on it to check the oil and that's it. It was absolutely flawless. The recipe is good. You know, I haven't changed this car and I think I built the original one in 2014, the turbo setup. I have not changed it since, and the recipe obviously works. You know, over 400 horsepower, over 400 foot-pounds of torque, 0 maintenance required. It just gets the job done. She ain't pretty, but I don't care. I have so much fun with this car, so I'm really happy it's back. I think it will rekindle my love for drifting after taking a year off, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Spank Grant's Garage.